Okay, hello everybody. Hi everybody, and welcome to Tone 8, Kievan Chant. A little disclaimer here. Although it says Kievan Chant, and we consider this part of our group of tones, it is actually court chant. That is the technical body of work that it belongs to, coming out of the court in Moscow, much later than Kievan Chant historically. I'm not sure what happened to the original tonate from Kievan Chant, whether it was just difficult to sing or people didn't like it or it got lost. But it's very typical that if you're using Kievan chant, you'll for tone 8, you will use the court chant, which is also called obicode. Obicode chant is similar to Kievan, but it's simplified. So for tone 8, this is our what we're calling Kievan chant, but technically it's court chant, just to be clear about that. Tone 8 is really a very pleasant and sweet sounding tone. Part of the reason for that is it's got a simple melody that's not difficult to learn, no kind of crazy jumps that you're not expecting. And when you have the alto line added on underneath the soprano line, they move along together throughout the whole piece. Sometimes the alto line is moving differently than the soprano line, but in tone 8 they move together, and they're in an interval that means two notes sung together that is called a third. So there's just one note missing in between them. Sometimes the soprano note is here and there might be two or three missing notes and then the alto note. But with a third, there's only one note missing. You can see that because you see the two notes that are on the space on the word Lord. And the missing note is the note that would be on the line in between them. So that's what makes tone 8 really pleasant to listen to. And it also is in a major key. As well, which adds to that sweetness of the sound. So let's take a look at the first line. What makes tone 8 first line unique is that it has two half notes and they are the same half note. Okay, and the only note in between them is just one step down and then across and back up to the same note. Sometimes you can have a couple of words before the first note, and if you do, they're also going to be on that just one step down. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the first line and sing through it together. For this version, without the note coming before, it's going to start on the half note. That's going to be a major chord, a little bit on the higher side. So it's going to be like this. So, mi, do. I'm taking it a little low so that everyone can sing along. But our note is going to be right in the middle. Okay, so, mi, there's our starting note for the sopranos. Do, there's the alto note, okay, and the bass note. Here we go. Lord, I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me. So just note that there's those two half notes, and it's just a real simple line, da, 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 stepping right down at the end, okay? And then for the second line, the B line, we're going to go back up to that starting note. Dum, hearken unto me, O Lord. And instead of going down, we go up one note and then come down, okay? So let's take those first two lines together. Lord, I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me, hearken unto me, O Lord. Okay, and then the third line, which we call the C line, has a little bit of difference at the end. It has this really nice moving little hilly part at the end, okay? And this is the one and only time, or the first time, I guess, in this tone that we actually do have a skipped note. All of these other notes have been next door neighbors, but this one we have a skipped note on hearken, the word ken, okay? All right, let's take the third line. Lord, I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me. Okay, that's that ending of line C, that the third line in tone 8, that's going to be always the same. Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. Lord, I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me. And notice how those three notes at the end are all half notes. Bum, bum, bum. That's what is unique about the C line. Now, for the next line, we're actually going back to the A line, except you only have one half note, not two. So you drop the half note at the beginning. That is unique to the first line of tone 8. But every time you get back to that A line subsequent, you don't do the first half note, you only do the second half note. So it's actually even simpler. Okay, so let's sing through the whole thing, starting at the top. Lord, I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me. Hearken unto me, O Lord. Lord, I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me. Attend to the voice of my supplication when I cry unto thee. Hearken unto me, O Lord. And that last line of tone 8, the X line, does go up a little bit higher than what we've started on any of the other lines. And that's how you know it's the last line. Hearken unto me, O Lord. Okay, let's go on to the next page, which is a continuation of, this is all sung together, but we're starting over again. Now notice where it says, let my prayer be set forth. What do we know about line 1? It's supposed to have two half notes at the beginning, but this does not. This one is a short line. You have a half note at the end, but you're supposed to have two half notes that are the same on the word prayer. Look at the top, Lord, I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me. You have those two notes. Down at the bottom, let my prayer be set forth. The line is too short, and so we've dropped that first half note. We could have put it in on the word let. Let my prayer be set forth. That would have been a little more consistent, but it was set the way it's set now. So we're going to sing it the way it is on the music here. Let my prayer be set forth as incense before thee, the lifting up of my hands as an evening sacrifice. Hearken unto me, O Lord. Okay, let's go on to the Dogmaticon, where we can see the lines written out a little bit more easily, because I've got the A, B, and C on there. And you'll see down on the third line of the music, there's an A1, A-1. That's what I'm using to show all of those A lines that come after the first one that are a little bit different because they don't have two half notes. They only have one half note, okay, on the A and the F. Okay. So let's take it from the both now and ever and unto ages of ages, amen. This is the intro verse for tone 8. And if someone can learn how to sing the entrance verse, or everyone, then it really sets you right up for going into the tone. Okay, so let's start with both now and ever, and we'll just sing straight through, and then we'll go back and talk about it a little bit. Do, la, there's our starting note, and there's the alto and bass note. Both now and ever and unto ages of ages, amen. The King of the heavens, out of love for man, hath appeared on earth and lived among men. For he that hath taken flesh of the pure Virgin, and come forth from her with what he hath received, is one Son, twofold of nature, but not in hypostasis. Wherefore, proclaiming him as truly perfect God and perfect man, we confess Christ our God. Do thou beseech him, O mother, who knewest not wedlock, to have mercy on our souls. Okay, good. Let's go back up to the beginning. Notice with that first line, you do have those two half notes, the King of the heavens. But in this case, you do have the first note as a G, not the A, which is the word king. So you have the pickup note. Unlike in when we did Lord, I Have Cried, we started on the half note. Okay, so tonate can go either way. On the dogmaticon, we don't start on the half note. We have a syllable first. So FYI, if you are pitching for tone 8, if you're giving the pitch, you have to pay attention to whether you're singing on the half note or you have a pickup note, because you're going to pitch it differently. Okay, since we did the intro verse, which is just its own thing, I didn't have to pitch it because we already had started. But if I was starting at the King of the Heavens, instead of going so mi do at a higher one, I'm going to give a lower one. So mi do, the King of the heavens. It's kind of a subtle thing, and I don't want to get bogged down in how to give pitches, because we'll do a separate video for that where we can really get in depth. But I just want you to know you have to pay attention with tone 8 where you're starting, because that's going to change how you give the pitch. And if you're unsure of how to give the pitch, you can just start singing. The King of the heavens, the King of the heavens. It doesn't really matter where you start singing, but you need to know how that first line goes and how it sounds, where you're moving from one note to the next note. If you don't give a pitch, you're not giving your choir the context for where that next note is. But if you know it in your mind, even though you can't give the pitch, then you can just go ahead and sing out and start that way. Okay, so we've got our line A, we've got our line B, and then we've got our line C with the little thing that comes down. Da 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 dum, da 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 dum. Earth and lived among men. And then to our A1 line, da 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 dum. We're just missing the first half note, but otherwise it's all the same. Okay, and then our B line is pretty easy, and our C line, and then we go back to the A1, the B, the C, the A1, and then we end with the X. And remember that the X, you have to go up a little higher to get that last line. Okay, let's sing through this one more time just to get it in our minds. Okay, let's just start with the King of the Heavens, though. So I'm going to give this pitch, so mi do, and the sopranos start on the top note. If you're starting with a pickup note, the King of the heavens, out of love for man, hath appeared on earth and lived among men. For he that hath taken flesh of the pure virgin, and come forth with what he hath received, is one Son, twofold of nature, but not in hypostasis. Wherefore, proclaiming him as perfect God and perfect man, we confess Christ our God. Do thou beseech him, O mother, who knewest not wedlock, to have mercy on our souls. Okay, very good. Now we're going to go on to the rest of the Stakira for Friday night Vespers, just to practice tone 8 a little bit more and to work on it with markings, okay? So these are the Lord I Have Cried verses from the Octoikos for Friday night Vespers, okay? So, mi, do, because I have a pickup, I'm giving that lower pitch, that lower major pitch. So here's our starting note, mi, do. O martyrs of the Lord, ye sanctify every place, and heal every infirmity. Pray ye now that our souls be delivered from the snares of the enemy. We beseech you. And often when I'm conducting tone 8, I do go like this before the last line, just to remind everybody that we need to go up. Okay, let's work on the ones with markings now. Just the same melody, you're just going to watch the markings as they go up or down. And if it's an open little circle, that means there's your half note, okay? So you can see at the beginning, if I had to pitch right here, I would be doing the lower one and we'd be starting on the top note, okay? So, mi, do. Thy martyrs, O Lord, were no longer mindful of the things of life, but ignored their tortures for the sake of the life which is to come, and were shown to be inheritors thereof. Wherefore they rejoice with the angels. By their supplications grant great mercy to thy people. So there was a little tricky part in that one. It's the third line, and were shown to be inheritors thereof. It's a lot of syllables to fit in. And so you got to look carefully at your markings to see where you're going. And were shown to be inheritors thereof. So that's a little line you definitely want to go over in rehearsal. Okay, let's go on to the next one. What virtue? Same pitch. What virtue, what praise is due the saints, for they bowed down their heads beneath the sword for the sake of thee, who bowed down the heavens and descended. They shed their blood for thee, who abased thyself and assumed the form of a servant. They humbled themselves even unto death, emulating thy poverty. By their supplications, O God, have mercy upon us in the multitude of thy compassions. Good. Now, with the middle line, it's kind of a long line, and I want to point out that when we're conducting a piece that has a line that has a long recitative, remember that's when you're singing a lot of different words and syllables on the same note. That's called a recitative. When you have a long recitative, the way that I am conducting is according to the patterns of natural speech on that section. Let's look at the line without singing it, and I'm going to show you with my hand where the natural emphasis lies on the syllables that we're saying. For they bowed their heads beneath the sword for the sake of thee. Okay, let's do that again. For they bowed their heads beneath the sword for the sake of thee. So when we have a long recitative, that's what I'm marking is the natural syllables as they would be spoken. What we don't want to do in Kievan chant, especially when you've got a long recitative, or any chant for that matter, is we don't want to give every syllable the same weight because it sounds really weird and robotic. Okay, so you want to speak and conduct the way that the way you want to conduct the way that you naturally speak, and not give that same weight to every syllable, which makes it sound like a rat tat 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 tat. It actually makes it harder for people to understand what you're saying. When you give it the natural weight that it does with speaking, it's easier for people to understand and pray along with us. So again, same principle as always. We are singing to serve the text, and we set the music and we conduct in a way that serves and presents the text for prayer. Okay, not the other way around. So let's start the beginning there and watch how I conduct that second line where there's the recitative. Okay, so starting with the first line, so mi do. What virtue, what praise is due to the saints, for they bowed their heads beneath the sword for the sake of thee. Okay, did you see how I did that? Just a little lesson in conducting as we go through these. Let's go to verse 3. I have become like the barren tree, clad in a form as with useless leaves, and I am afraid that if I am cut down, thou wilt send me into unquenchable everlasting fire, O Master. But grant me time to convert, that I may offer thee the goodly fruit of virtuous acts, and may be vouchsafed by thy kingdom. Okay, good. Lord, O Lord, who lovest mankind, turn not thy face away from me, thy servant, who angereth thy goodness every day. Neither punish me by thy righteous wrath, O Christ. I have sinned against thee like no one else, I confess. But have pity and save me through the supplications of thy mother. And the last one. When in thy glory thou shalt sit as the King of all upon thy judgment seat, and all the holy angels stand before thee with fear, and all human nature will stand before thee to be judged, O Christ. Then through the supplications of thy mother, O Lord, from all torments deliver those who have fallen asleep in faith. Okay, at the Apostica, we're again starting with that pickup note. So it's the lower chord and we are the top note, okay? So, mi, do. O martyrs of the Lord, entreat ye our God, and ask for our souls a multitude of compassions, and the cleansing of our many transgressions, we beseech you. Going on. I weep and lament when I think upon death, and behold our beauty which hath been created according to the image of God, lying in the grave, bereft of form, devoid of glory, unsightly. Oh, the wonder! What is this mystery concerning us? How have we been given over to corruption? How have we been yoked together with death? Truly, as it is written, this is by the command of God, who giveth rest unto the departed. So the third line on that one was a little bit a little bit wobbly for me, because I wasn't quite sure where to go down, where to go up. This is why we have to, as conductors, we need to make sure that we're really familiar with our pieces before we get to rehearsal, so that we can point out the sticky spots and practice them together, and then we'll be confident in the service. So let's take that first three lines again, just to smooth that out again, okay? I weep and lament when I think upon death, and behold our beauty which hath been created according to the image of God, lying in the grave, bereft of form, devoid of glory, unsightly. Okay, and I know now what it was that tripped me up. It's because there should be a comma after bereft of form, comma, devoid of glory, comma, unsightly. We're listing things that is, the beauty, how our beauty has been um, changed out of the image of God. And so it's really important when you are typing up things to make sure that there are not spelling errors and that you get the punctuation correct. Just a little plug for that in case you're preparing music. It really helps the singers and chanters on the other end to read correctly. Okay, let's go ahead and do the last line, or the last stikira, excuse me. Thy death, O Lord, won immortality for us. For if thou hadst not been laid in the tomb, paradise would not have been opened. Wherefore grant rest to the departed, in that thou lovest mankind. Okay, and let's finish with the Theotokian in tone 8. So me do, O pure Virgin, the gate of the world, and Mother of our God, pray that we may be saved. Okay, and that is the end of tone 8. I hope that by practicing and running through some of these, you've gotten used to how that melody goes. Remember, it's just an ABC line. The A is a little bit modified as you go forward past the first line, and then you end with that X, which you have to jump up to a higher note than you've started with on any of the other lines. Okay, and once you get the melody down, then you can start adding in your alto and you can hear how wonderful it sounds. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you again for the next series. If there's anything that you would particularly like me to try and cover in these videos, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll try and get to it. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.